Hello, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in and listening. Um, this is going to be a discussion of my latest album that is potentially coming out July 22nd, 2022. The name of it is Truth in the Darkness. It's my most intimate, um, very personal album because in the album I'm discussing and referencing a lot to homosexuality, my homosexuality, the struggles of it, dealing with that, and trying to conform or confine to social and religious norms and boundaries and belief systems, as well as dealing with molestation and my divine or just the divine masculinity being attacked in general, and other issues that is arising in our society as far as dealing with the truth and dealing with traumas and embracing it as a whole. So that's what I was referencing when I did this album. So starting up, in my childhood life, I struggled with or realized I was gay since the age of 3, and that was before any adult, anyone touched me. And but when I was like 5 or 6, dealing with wrestling with my just adults. I don't want to put no one else out. This is about me. But basically, I was they fondled me, and I my initial thought was that I liked it, I enjoyed it, and that also confirmed that I was predominantly gay. But because of social norms and societies and religion, and my mom teaching me these things, it taught me to not indulge in it, not to like it. So that will cause the trauma. That will cause the self-hating and the conflict. So me desperate to seek an outlet instead of me just acting with peers my own age, or when those events arise, I was too afraid to act on it because I was questioning my nature. Although, peers wanted me to act on it with them, I was too afraid to do it. So my best bet at the time was to do it with my nephews and to do it at home. Being a young teenager, preteen, into even my young adulthood, I yearned to do it because I felt it spilled over basically. I was desperate for an outlet, and I felt like since there was also males too, they was probably having those same considerations or thoughts. So I feel like we can do it together and understand what's going on and to explore. I don't know how much or damages have caused them, but all I can do is just move on for myself and heal and know that there was nothing wrong with me, and know that God in the divine inside of me has always accepted myself, regardless of creed, regardless of what other people think of me, and despite of their words and the words that they use to try to demonize who we are as a person, who I am as a person. Later on, like around my teenager years, I met my father, stepfather, and when I first met him, it was like love at first sight. But I feel like it was my spirit telling me that that's my real father, and was him not my stepfather. But I felt the likeness in him, which in me, which was we both were struggling with our natural urges and trying to always abide by rules and regulations of the world versus our own. And we knew what the truth was. The whole truth was that there was nothing really wrong with either of us. I would have crossed that line with him as far as acting in a sexual way with my father, being that I was a teenager. And there's nothing wrong, especially if it's consented. But society wants you to feel like they want to reshape who you are and what you are, your fabric of your whole being. And I feel like what this world is about is fighting for your rights, for your birthright, fighting for yourself and your whole truth, and not allowing anyone, anything to stamp on what you really are. You never needed any, I never needed anyone to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm not supposed to be doing. It was already embedded in me from the start. That's how I knew at such an early age that I was meant to be predominantly gay. Would I be straight, or would I entertain being with a woman? Possibly. But at the same time, I'm glad that she denies me being that I'm openly gay, because it encouraged me to always soul search myself and to not seek validation from anyone, and know that I am a divine being in this whole. We, as being, especially being a man, we are the main importance in this world. We are the exact representation of divine creation, of source of creation. It starts with us, the wholeness of it all. We are the main and the original. We are what makes anything possible in this existence, because we're the direct lineage from of the God source of the wholeness. That's why I have the divine feminine and masculine in me, and there's nothing wrong with being expressive and being vulnerable and being strong at the same time. I had to learn that being a man. I had to learn that there's nothing wrong with me, and there's nothing wrong with any of us, any man, for having these desires and thoughts and feelings, not just for just the same sex, but anyone, whether of age, regardless of age. Love is boundless. It's not you. No one has the right to control how you love and who you love, and it's not, if especially if it's not enforcing or imposing. It was done in love. I did it. I've done my things in love. And in desire, yes, it was lustful, but it was natural. Sex is the natural order of things. It's a natural hormone. And people want to just try to control from birth to the day you die what you're supposed to be doing with your life. And it's no one's place to tell another living being how they should live their life. And I feel like that's a lot of going on, is that there's attacking and taking away your birthrights, trying to take away who you are naturally, to make you feel like you should be dependent on order or institute or anything to tell you who you are, when you already know who you are. Stop running from your whole truth and embrace it, the truth in the darkness. That's why I named this album Truth in the Darkness, because it's disclosing. When you face the deepest, darkest traumas, you realize that they're not always traumas. You're not a victim. It was a revelation of who you are. It's for that person and for their adult or their other child. And we just need to stop trying to carry on that title of being a victim, because you're not a victim. I was not a victim. My nephews was not victims. It was an act of shame and hurt and desperation to seek understanding of what was going on within ourselves. They try so hard to place shame and the guilt and the fear, so you can stay in that box of confinement that they want to place you in. Not all of them, but you know what I'm talking about. Certain society of those boundaries, those rules that place. The 4,000 plus year old book, Bible, religion that humans use to contain you instead of embracing you, enlightening you. Some people use it to control. And that's where I step in and say that you have to stand your ground in your entirety. And that's what I'm doing with this album, is standing in my truth, regardless of what I lose. Because in the end, this existence is just a temporary existence. I am an eternal being. It cannot be destroyed or contained. I am a divinity in its wholeness. And you have to know that too. You got to step back into your power. I have to step back into my power and know that there was nothing ever wrong with me. I am perfectly perfect and undefined. You cannot define me with your mere human words or what I'm supposed to be doing with my life, what's not. So this is a declaration for me. This is a declaration saying that I have embraced my wholeness and no one and nothing is not going to stop me. Ever will. So that's basically it. Um, you can take the lessons with you, or you don't have to, but I am. And this is the lessons that I'm learning in this particular existence. That I am everything. I have the power. And I will not allow fear, shame, and guilt to plague me no longer. Truth in the darkness. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.